It's the 4th of July here in the United States. Happy birthday, America. And I wanted to share this video with you. As I shared in the blog the other day, I had a video that I was going to post on today. And you can see it's an important video because I got my important jacket on. How often do you ever see me wearing an important jacket? I'm not going to lie. You know, I've spent a lot of time the last couple of weeks putting together this video, or not putting together the video, but putting together what I was going to say in the video. And even this morning I've been looking at it over the last hour, and nothing I'd written down really seemed too rehearsed or too, I don't know, too rah-rah, and I didn't want it to make it sound that way. I don't want to be that or that guy or anything. Like, I just want to be me. And so I figured I would come here and just shoot from the hip, which is what I'm going to do. You know, so I said leadership has been something that's been on my mind a lot lately, and what it means to be a leader. And there's been a lot of different areas that this has been coming from, and I've always stayed, you know, out of politics and kind of my personal, professional life, just simply because I want to respect everybody's opinion and keep my opinion out of it and focus on you all and helping you live and create and empower you to live your best life. But in this instance of leadership, I feel that just dipping my toe in the political forum here today is going to be a necessity. In the United States, we have a president, as you all know, and our president is Barack Obama. And right now we're entering into election time, and we have a challenger, and that challenger is Mitt Romney. And before I get any further than that, I want to first acknowledge both of you, Barack Obama and Mitt Romney, for you're doing what you're doing. With President Obama, I can't even imagine what it takes to become a president and the sacrifices you must make each and every day. Your family time, your personal time, your privacy, things that I take for granted. I mean, I could go down to the 7-Eleven right now and buy a Twinkie if I want to, and I would wager that it's a matter of national security if you did it. And I can't imagine the uphill battle that you must always face as a president, and I really respect you taking that on. And same thing for Mitt Romney coming in and knowing that there's this uphill battle to face and being willing to put himself in the ring where to sacrifice privacy, little things, being able to go get that 7-Eleven Twinkie. 7-Eleven even have Twinkies? I don't know. But anyways, you know, there's so much sacrifice that goes into leadership, and for the two of you to be so willing to push away your personal lives and your private lives and put yourself out in the open to basically have the world ridicule you, pick and probe, and try to nitpick stuff, I really respect that. And I think that's a huge quality of a leader. And there's another quality of a leader I think that's really important that's been lost, and it gets so lost in all the hoopla of the elections, and that's accountability. Accountability, without accountability, you never have anything to reference back to, right? You never have anything to keep you on the same path. Otherwise, we just keep going, and we can stray so easily from our course. And accountability for leadership is so crucial because it keeps you from straying and keeps you focused on the course. And I think in American politics and in the American perception in general, we've gotten so off course. I thought that we were supposed to live in the United States, and the United States meant that we were united by one, but yet what I hear from elected officials and right now from our president and challenger is more bickering, is more of what you didn't do and what you don't do and how you're not going to do this and how you're not going to do that, instead of just focusing on what you as a leader are going to do to empower the American people. You know, in school, in grade school, we had a term for people like that, people who would go and tell what the other person was doing, and it was called a tattletale, and nobody wanted to be a tattletale. You two are in this position to be the ultimate role model for kids and for anybody in a time where we don't have heroes like we used to. But yet the example that's being set is, you know, focus on what the other person does and name call and point fingers. I spent, 30 minutes this morning looking at different commercials, different political commercials, and so much of the commercials was on what, from Romney was about what Obama hasn't done or how he's failed us, and about Obama was talking about how Romney will fail us, instead of just talking about how you're going to empower us. Focusing on that. One of my favorite expressions, like I talked about in the blog the other day, is if if you give a man a fish, you'll feed him for a day. But if you teach a man to fish, he'll learn the tools to feed himself for his life. Focus on the tools that you're going to give us, how you're going to empower us to learn how to fish, not about who's going to give each the more fish. And I apologize because I get on a rant and I get really passionate and fired up about certain things, and I don't mean to stray off course. It's a good thing I have the camera here for accountability. But just think about that. What it does, what the message it sends to people about when you're sitting there name calling or focusing on all the bad stuff the other person hasn't done or the other person will do, instead of just focusing on the good. Talking to young people and saying, what kind of message do we want them to have? Do we want them to go to school and just be a tattletale? Do we want them to go to school and instead of focusing on what they can do and how they can build themselves up, point the finger at somebody else and say, well, I couldn't because of him? No. That's not what this whole thing was about. That's not what made the United States, or America, or anything. People, I believe, want to be self-sufficient. They want to have the opportunity to think for themselves. And unfortunately, right now, we live in a world and a time where heroes and role models are, people on posters that say a lot of bad words and, are on reality TV shows and have an extreme following of people because they have the latest fashion. And then the two most prominent figureheads in our life, our president and the person who's challenging our president. How do you deviate from that? It's basically making reality TV almost in the political campaign instead of just, again, focusing on. And I know there's obstacles and there's obstacles I can't even imagine. And unfortunately, you're in a media world where the media just loves to focus on the negative because it makes a lot more money. What's this expression? If it bleeds, it leads. We don't need more blood, though, right now. We don't need more it bleeds, it leads. We need to see from our leaders positivism, hope, inspiring, empowering thoughts, not focusing on what the other person's going to do. We got past tattletaling a long time ago. We need heroes. And so I ask you, as a voice of one of a country of hundreds of millions and a world of billions, focus on empowering us. Focus on empowering the people that you're trying to lead, not setting the example of being a tattletale or anything else. And I don't mean to sound harsh because I really do respect what each of you is trying to do. But again, as a leader, your job is to lead and lead by example.